My name's Harry Payne, and these are my plans for the regeneration of Gateside Riverside Park. This is just a general outline of my presentation, where we'll go on to a general history of the area first. So I'm focused on the first being shipbuilding. So if you were to take a walk from Gateshead to South Shields 50 years ago, it would be hard to imagine that the river not being populated with ships and their builders. Iron shipbuilding would change the face of the whole national economy as iron ships were invented on the banks at the time. Iron cargo ships such as the Star not only provided employment opportunities for local men, but were also a source of pride as Newcastle became an industrial pioneer and national leader. Shipbuilding became emblematic of the local communities. These communities were built around industry, as socialisation, education, and recreation were implicitly linked to the shipyards. The Jarrow Crusade represents that shipbuilding was more than just employment, but also a source of pride as residents took extreme measures to protect the industry. It is this pride which I wish to invoke through these projects, reminding residents today that Gateshead is an area to be proud of with a rich history of innovation and community. Mining is the next one. It's arguably the most symbolic representation of the Northeast. It's also a very personal history to me. I was the grandson of a miner. The photo shown is West Oak Colliery, the last colliery of its kind in Tyneside, and also where my grandfather worked. The Dunstan stays are the perfect backdrop to represent Gateshead and more widely the Northeast mining past. Derwent stands on one of the most fruitful coal seams in the Northeast and helped Gateshead become a leader when supplying both the Industrial Revolution but the country for over 350 years. The legacy of mining in the area is one fraught with tension. Some remember it for the dangerous living conditions or the hunger and poverty associated with strike action, whereas others see it with the air of glorious nostalgia. It is important to consider that both these are true and one outlook is not more important than the other. Much like shipbuilding, mining is integral to the identity of the area for the good and bad. In fact, it was the good of the area that people were willing to suffer the bad. My grandfather has told me the stories of when he used oven for heating in his home when striking due to the lack of income that couldn't afford gas, but he also recalls his job with pride in what he did for his area and the country. The impact of mining should not be quantified by the output of coal or the employment it provided, but the sense of identity and kinship it created. It is these ideas that I hope to regenerate the area. It's already been done. Gateshead Council have proposed that they wish for the park to be a popular site for both residents and visitors. Thus, this proposal will put forward ideas that do not cater to a certain demographic due to the diverse nature of the clientele that the council hopes to attract. They also wish to increase community ownership of the park in order to engage the local community to take pride in the areas around them. This is already in place. Council studies and surveys have shown that the area to be showing a high level of community cohesion as occupants feel attached to their community. This is reflected in the food festival of the state's food festival, which ran for 5 consecutive years and attracts hundreds of visitors annually. The success of the Dunstan Days Food Festival reflects that the area is not only a viable site for social and recreational events, but there is already a framework of events. So my vision statement: to use the creative arts as a means to revitalise the Gateshead Riverside Park, enrich the lives of local residents, and reconnect Gateshead with its heritage in a unique and immersive way. The ideas put forward not only match the demographics of the area, but use to transcend them and create a universal experience for all those who wish to attend. This is due to the high rate of transience, as 50% of residents live in a rental property. I want to make experience that exists outside a predetermined time period. Some parts of my proposal will hopefully exist for years, whereas others will be an annual event. Hopefully these will be there for people no matter their age, occupancy or location, and I believe the best way to do this is through a multimedia creative approach which creates an immersive and lived experience. So these are my plans for the area. So these are photos taken from the States as of 2022. It is obvious that they've fallen into disrepair and become susceptible of vandalism. Although footfall increased during the pandemic, the park still has a negative view from residents and visitors due to a high degree of antisocial behaviour above the local averages. Although these services do present an opportunity for renewal, they also present an opportunity for community. My first idea is general upkeep through community engagement in art. So that's rehabilitate the park's image through a community-based art project, using art to tackle both antisocial behaviour and teach young children about their heritage. So these ideas have already found success further up the time, such as the Black Diamond Graffiti Project, garnering critical acclaim for its artistic merit and social. So, through the community payback scheme already set up through Gateshead Council, these services can be cleaned up at minimal cost, providing a revitalised area. This mock-up image reflects how these services can simultaneously uplift the park and foster community cohesion and engagement. After the cleanup, contact will be made with local primary schools in order to redesign murals that reflect the heritage of the area. The goal is to involve children and teachers in local history through the creative arts. Children decide what they want to create through lessons targeted at their history. Hopefully these will then be painted onto walls by volunteer spray paint artists. Hopefully those who have been involved in vandalism in the area prior, so that they're given a legal avenue to express their creativity. Studies have shown that decriminalising vandalism to some extent will have a positive communal impact by reducing antisocial behaviour and giving youth better access to the arts. These murals will serve to regenerate the park, increase community engagement, as well as reduce antisocial behaviour, all at a relatively low. These will then be added upon in a recreation and heritage centre. The Gateshead Recreation and Heritage Centre will use the vacant lot at the restaurant Buffalo Joe's to create a space where people of all ages can learn about their local heritage by completing art projects that reflect elements of the area's history. There will be a variety of courses and projects to reflect the demographic and age diversity of the area. The idea of the Heritage Centre stems from my own experience as a child in Gateshead, who before my pre-undergraduate experience, I spent the whole time on what some people have called the other side of the river. I have experienced firsthand how Gateshead schooling budgets are limited. For the past 10 years, funding has dropped whilst enrolment has increased, and the arts have always been the first thing to be cut, despite their beneficial impact on society and mental health. This has been made worse by the pandemic, as catching up children essential subjects has taken priority. This is compounded on by the fact that Gateshead is one of the worst and one of the poorest boroughs in the country, some of the lowest achievement rates, a reality all too. Hopefully this centre will serve as an opportunity for Gateshead children to enjoy the arts even outside the classroom, which studies have shown taking art out of the classroom has a really good impact on children's grades and overall performance. These projects will range from different historical periods to different difficulties to different seasons. The centre should not be something you visit once, but where you go multiple times to make friends, have fun, and learn all at the same time. Above the mock-up project that will be used to teach visitors about Gateshead shipbuilding past. Visitors will be able to assemble their own boat and paint it however they like, whether that's historically accurate or just releasing their creativity. The boat showing on stage is not one meant to be historically accurate, but one that kids can use to explore their creativity and history all at the same time, why shipbuilding is so important to the area. Accompanying the art session will be an instructor who can assist the project, but also teach a lesson based on the project chosen. For example, in this case, shipbuilding and why it's so important. These art pieces will be then showing at the annual Gateshead Night of Heritage, which we'll cover in later slides. Funds for this project will be acquired from not just Council, but the National Lottery Charity Fund and National Arts Councils who have funded endeavours like this in other areas. Due to the fact that the space will be used for the centre is already a relatively good standard, the cost will be minimal. Furthermore, as I mentioned, the thought behind the centre was the lacking of arts funding in a deprived area. Thus, funds from charitable sources will be used to subsidise visits for children under 13 with special programmes for school groups. Linking art and history has always been a staple in primary education for decades and has a proven impact on academic and personal growth. These won't just be for children, however. Recreational art projects has gained popularity with 20 to 45-year-olds in the past 5 years, with activities such as pottery seeing an increase in media traffic. This scheme will provide much needed arts and history-based employment opportunities, which have been increasingly difficult to obtain in today's. Both of these ideas I've went over will culminate in a large annual celebration of the area, the heritage and the hard work of the members of the community to uphold these ideals. This night will be an ode to Gateshead's past, present and future. The work done to make the park a better kept, safer, more aesthetically pleasing locale provides a great venue for the event, and the work done at the Heritage Centre will be on show for the whole of the night. The desire to create a large annual event stems from prior successes for these events both in Gateshead and elsewhere. Furthermore, part of my vision statement was to create an event where both past and present members of the community can attend. So what this show will be, first one's called Illuminations Walk, Miners Path. The event will begin at the stage and culminate at the staiths. The path will follow the route of the quayside with miners' lamps, such as the one showing above, lighting the correct path. The lamp picture is actually my own family's lamp from my grandfather who recently passed. Underneath the lamp will be a small testimony of history of the provider's family and heritage. For reference, this is a testimony taken from my granddad's personal story. The idea of the walk is to be a personal, intimate reflection of stories. These are some examples of the illuminations from Durham's Lumiere event, which is a national phenomenon, combining art and history as well as northern spirit through the technology of. The final event on the stage overlooking the time to be a culmination of a year of hard work and centuries of history. At the end of Miners Walk, for lack of a better term, will be a party on top of an iconic venue. a place for members of the community, past and present, to come and have something to eat, drink, and meet up with all members of the borough. This should be a celebration of the arts and the history together as a visual through a visual medium, with the work of the Heritage Centre being showing on proud display to reflect local talent and hard work. Celebration should seek to provide new life to an iconic landmark that remains true to its shipbuilding and industrial history. I hope that members of Beamish can come together to demand stalls, provide information, and take photos in a coach. These are just some reference photos from the food festival and also mock-ups of how the event can both be recreational and reflect a commitment to celebrate Newcastle's industrial roots. The miners' banner reflect each colliery from the northeast that Gateshead families have been part of. This one specifically, on the very far right, is Westo, which my grandfather worked in the seam at. The hope is that the Gateshead families will be able to see some part of the event and see their own personal history, whether that's the walk, the illuminations, or the final celebration. Overall, I hope that this proposal shows that the arts can be used as a visual medium to promote a better connection to local heritage, increase community engagement, and decrease antisocial behaviour. Gateshead, when all things are said and done, it's my home. So to see the University and Council commit to helping the community is great to see, and I hope no matter what is chosen, it's great for the community. And I do thank you for listening, and thank you for your time.